Chapter 3 has us playing as Optimus again, as we career forward into the next fight. I'm going to have the names on the videos, guys, for anybody interested in the specific titles. I don't know them off by heart, I've only beat the game twice. But this one starts with a driving sequence as we support the giant guy to our right, which I love the sense of scale here and the scope of it. This is the kind of thing that, back when Gears of War 3 was new, this probably wasn't that impressive to look at, because it's just like, well, Gears kind of ruined everybody, didn't it? It was such a good game. The scope, the scale, everything coming together in the culmination of an amazing series. So you play a game like this and you're just like, yeah, it's trying to be like Gears, but it's not as good, so blasé. But now that video games have essentially all piled into a train and been driven off a cliff, I come back and I look at this and I kind of go, Jesus Christ, look what they were doing, dude. This is not a AAA developer. This is slightly smaller than that, and they're still trying to make the best game that they can, and look at what they've managed to achieve. Look at what is happening right now. There is a civil war happening on this planet, and there's this giant robot just doing his thing. And none of this is like scripted. It's not like that horrendous update to Overwatch with the PvE where there's just a random robot in the background walking around because you all got debated. Like, this is real. And it's fun. And because I'm playing it on PC and I've got some mods installed, we've got it at a really good frame rate. You know, we've got it going at a really nice resolution. We've got the FOV pulled back. There's no place I'd rather be right now than playing this game. Sadly, I am a bit ill, so this commentary is a fucking pain in the ass and I have to keep pausing it. But I hope that doesn't detract from you guys' enjoyment. But this is one of those levels where you're going to have a combination of the car and the mobility. And that was one of the first fights there that I was able to really push in and be aggressive on those guys. Being aggressive is really strong in this game. You just can't overextend, because if there's more enemies than you realise, you'll just get pooed on. But again, you don't have to kill all the enemies here, guys. I kind of wish this game had a score system, and hell, maybe it does and I didn't notice, because it's one of those games where replaying it for actually gameplay would be pretty fun. Because I am rather smitten with this title, and the gameplay is really solid. But moving forward, I'm going to try my best, guys, on each of the levels to try to use a different weapon if I can. Sometimes I will be forced to use the same weapons because of circumstance, but you'll notice we've now got that assault rifle. This is the gun we started on with Bumblebee, and it's also the first gun I really started to enjoy. So whenever I have this, I feel really safe. And you can see there my money in the top right, 126,000 points. The reason that is so high is because my first run was the same setting as this. I didn't buy anything from the shop, so I've inherited a lot of money. And when I tried to replay the game again on the harder difficulty, it let me bring my money. So if you are struggling here, guys, with the game and you just want to beat it, you could just buy everything and treat it like New Game Plus and you won't have a problem. But I don't think you'll have that kind of trouble. You know, this game is challenging, but it's not too bad. You know, I've certainly played worse. And games from this era, some of them were way harder than this one. But it'll test you, and that's what games are all about. They present you with a problem, and it's time to solve it. And this problem is, this enemy thinks he can hit me with this bullshit pattern, and I saw through it the moment I faced him, so sadly he's not going to do too well. But there goes the hood. This is quite a beautiful game, even though I must admit, this aesthetic of, is it Cybertron, is not my favourite. Like, I understand it's, you know, it's a planet for machines and it's got all these cool things going on. But it's one of those aesthetics that, admittedly, video games has done a lot. Because I feel like sometimes when you've got, you know, simple geometry, you can kind of stick a bunch of metal and glowy lights and almost give the illusion that it's more elegant than it is. And I feel sorry a little bit for Transformers, because that was their design aesthetic before it became one of the lazy things that video games have done. But the character models and some of the stuff like the turrets and everything, they look a lot more interesting, and it feels a lot more like satisfying to look upon. But we do have 3 of these fellas, and we have help here pulling focus. And this might look really dangerous because there's 3 of them, and if they come down on you, they will kill you. But the thing with this creature is, they are always trying to get where you just were. And if you use that to your advantage, you will never be there. And the only time you're gonna get caught is if you don't see one of them jumping while you're attacking another one, like right now. Just then, I was vulnerable. But he missed, so I got lucky. And then all that's left now is to shoot the laser at the giant turret and watch this guy come over and rip the shit out of it. Like, look at this. All this is aim at target, press button, and then game will do scripted event, but it feels dynamic because it's happening in the game. Big old Transformer support buddy comes and beats the shit out of it. That to me is exactly what you want to do. Why would I want to pick up a card and open a door when I could shine a laser at a turret on a mountain and a robot rips it up? But this right here, with the hood on, you can get an idea of just how quickly you go down to dying if you're not careful. You have to really respect these enemies. But just be careful. Movement is your best friend, of course. Strafing left and right, always moving. Stuff you've been doing since the dawn of time. Which I learnt recently, it's quite funny. Apparently the original Quake, when it came out, was way harder. Not because the game was harder, but because people didn't understand to strafe. Quake was so new in you know, players' hands in this emerging gaming industry that unless you were a hardcore Doom guy, you just didn't realise about strafing. It wasn't something that players did. So players were, I'm assuming, standing their ground and absolutely getting destroyed and really suffering. And then slowly, either they saw people do it or they realised that maybe if I move while I'm doing this, I can stop this from happening. And then as they practiced and they got better at it, it just became part of their toolkit. And it's a funny thing that, isn't it, to think about. I don't even think about moving while I'm shooting or while I'm attacking because I can't help but do it now because games have conditioned me to do it. And you'll notice that I struggle to sit still. I play as if I've got ADHD. And it's one of those things where it's kept me alive for so long, it's become almost instinctual. I always play and move as if someone is aiming at me right now and I don't want them to shoot me in the head. And it's, as a survival mechanism, it's very useful. But you even can see it to this day, people that haven't quite developed it yet. Because you can go on a random live stream or watch a video on YouTube and people will just stand there like the furniture and just go whole hog and almost die. And it is quite fascinating, isn't it? Something that becomes so effortless to you is something that has not been achieved yet by many. And it does make me wonder, like right now we look back at Quake, which is not that long ago. You're looking at what, 25, well, maybe 28 years ago? I mean, that's quite a long time, you know, nearly 30 years ago, which is a long time admittedly, but it's not that long in the grand scheme of the planet. Back then, strafing was not something that was as ubiquitous as it is now. I wonder what, right now, is not as ubiquitous as it will be in 10, 20, 25, 30 years from now. Because they'll invent new genres, one would think. They'll invent new games. They'll invent these new solutions that you need to do to overcome the problems and the challenges. And I can't contemplate what that could be, because right now it doesn't exist. And I always think of stuff like that. Like, what will be the next big thing? What will be the next innovation and the groundbreaking movement that makes us all go, oh my goodness, how did we not think about this before? Because it'll be curious, won't it, to be on the other side of that history. But this is another defense sequence, and you have access to your laser targeter, which is super strong. All you should really do here, guys, is make sure that you stay in cover as much as possible, and use your tools. The Decepticons are going to be coming from the right and the left, so make sure you check both sides. You do not have to, like, do a great job here. They will tend to stand outside your perimeter until one or two get a bit risky and come in. And you can kind of just hide in cover and make sure you take down these targets that pop up on the hood right here. If you keep on top of those guys, you should be absolutely fine, because it is some form of a tank. And technically I just missed then, sadly. But that move is so powerful, I think it killed the tank anyway. And there, right there, grenades are something you want to pay attention to. And right here is the shotgunners. These guys will come in. Other guys, not as much. These fellas, all over you all day. And you do not want to get caught with your pants down with these men. But you do have a lot of allies that will pull focus, and you do have your special weapon if you want to pop that on. And of course, if you're still struggling, turn into a vehicle and decimate. But keep on bringing the airstrike down. You can go all the way back here if you need ammunition and if you need some health. And it is a really safe spot back here because you're miles away from the impact. But I don't recommend staying there too long because there might be a fail state that I didn't experience. But use your cover, use your laser, wait for the cooldown. And now we've got it, we'll hit that one hopefully. And Boom, that one's down. We just need the other guy. So we did miss the other guy, even though it seemed like maybe he died. And there's just a couple more dudes in front of us. Always be careful, because these guys are really sneaky. They like to hide in cover. They peek out, they start shooting you. You don't realise, you drop your shield, and then you die. But again, movement. Just be smart. As long as you're smart, you're fine. And then once all the targets have fallen, you get more of these shotgun guys coming in. But look how distracted he is. He can't even see that I'm shooting him, so I get all these free shots on him and he's already dead. But where there's one, there's two. And did you see how strong the vehicle's gun was just then? Like, if I were to revisit this game and do something else with it, for instance, if all those mods I talked about were present, I'd probably do, like, no vehicle. Because it's so good. And I think that would make 1 or 2 levels kind of impossible because you have to fly. But I think I could make it work. But here we go. Optimus is talking, meaning that we're moving on now, and there's the objective updated. Rush towards the staircase, and just be very careful here because there are a lot of enemies on this battlefield. And it's such a wide battlefield that you can get shot from numerous sources. But there's my shield back, and now we can push up this side here. This game, admittedly, I'm hiding the hood because I just wanted to do something a bit different. But looking at the hood in this game, it's really minimal anyway, and I think it's a good hood. It doesn't have too many things, it doesn't have huge maps everywhere, there's not like 50 compasses and markers that you don't need. They've only got a handful of bits of information and it works. So, in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty damn good. There's me shooting at my friends. That guy's not my friend though, that guy is absolutely a bad man. So make sure he does not survive. And this gun is really good, dude. That like triple rocket launching thing. There's one golden weapon that I like the most, and it's just a machine gun like this. You put it on, it's a really heavy powered machine gun, you just wreck everybody. But just a show of hands, guys, when you're watching this, if you've not played it, does this look a little bit confusing, who's your friend and who's not at times? Or is it just me? Am I just getting old? I'm probably just getting old. Oh, this is tricky as well. Coming out here and shooting this dropship is going to get you nuked. And you have to be really careful now that you don't get rushed and killed, because this guy's about to rush me, and he did kill me. But if you can take out that ship, you'll take out the reinforcements, and it makes this fight way quicker. But just be really careful, because you die so fast here. And do you see when you shoot the enemies, you can see them flinching and you can see their mobility having problems. And it's not a huge detail, we saw it in Gears of War 2, but it's nice to see that when you're attacking them, you get a little bit of advantage. And hell, this is present in Max Payne 1 back in 2000. You know, you shoot people and they get stunned, and it's an advantage to shoot them more. It's little details like that in third-person shooters that really elevate them and make them a lot more fun and a lot more mechanically satisfying. Somebody needs to send a memo to Remedy so that they can remember that. But moving on as Optimus, we've got some breakable walls here. Look how satisfying this game looks, dude. We're moving, we're breaking stuff, it's all fluid, we've got movement options, there's a skillful dash, I'm using cover, it's got real aim, like, it's all the things I want in a game. I'm in control, I'm the reason that we're winning, I'm the reason that we're losing. Nothing feels like I'm getting robbed or it's badly designed, it all just feels like it's coming together in such a cohesive package. And then we've got a big fight here, and I think that this is the end of the stage. Look at the damage I just took then, I think I ran onto a grenade. I also will not be using grenades if you're wondering. There is an entire suite of grenades in this game that involve like turrets and stuff. And they're very good. They're super good, so of course I decided to see what we could do without them. And it involves running away from shotgun men and backing up with the truck. But did this game have co-op, guys? I feel like this is the kind of series that if this had had co-op, it might have been the best game ever made. Because it's just a pure gameplay experience. And I suppose if you like Transformers, it's just the icing on top of the cake, isn't it? But be very careful here, because some of these enemies, they hurt. And there's a good gun there, it's the riot cannon. I think that's what Megatron uses. We're going to be using that gun later on. Oh, we're going to be using it now, I tell a lie. So this thing fires quite a slow projectile, but if it hits like a truck. And you want to spray with this if you can, because it can be very, very useful. But the checkpoint's a little bit evil here, so you don't want to push up too soon and get caught in the middle of nowhere. The one issue with this gun, though, because the projectile is slow, you have to lead your shots. So if the enemy is not standing still, you stand a chance of missing. But now we just need to transform into the vehicle, and then we're going to boost through this. Look at this zone, dude. Look at the skybox right now. Look how cool this game looks. What an awesome game. It's just madness, isn't it? Absolute madness. Where have these games gone? And I don't mean Transformers. I mean a game of this quality, with this much passion, this much love, and no scummy fucking microtransactions.